Stu here with Raid Shadow Legends. Let's talk about the champions you get at a 30-day login reward, your 60-day login reward, and your 90-day login reward. They're all epic champions. We have them right here. Starting from the top, we have High Katoon at the 30-day, Yaga the Insatiable at the 60-day, and Dark Aethel at the 90-day. Now, I've put this team through Dragons 20 quite a few times. I tried to do it with Apothecary here instead of Gorgorab. I tried to do it with Reliquary Tinder too, but it just wasn't working out. These three do not work well together. Really, it's all because Dark Aethel just doesn't belong in any team whatsoever. We do have the farmable War Maiden here, AoE decreased defense. Let's go ahead and roll this. After this one run, we're going to look at the gear I have on all these champions. We're going to talk about how they compare to other rare champions and why you should not probably book them and worry about them. Sadly enough, I know if you're free to play or you're a new player, mid-game account, low spender, you get these champions and you feel good about it. You're like, okay, I've got these new epic champions. I want to use them, Stu. They're given to me for free. They look cool. Dark Aethel looks amazing. I get that. I really do. And I'm trying to make them work. I'm trying to put them in an environment to where they can work well without throwing in a whole bunch of legendaries and anything else, so that it's like, of course, all these legendaries are a super comparable team that I have that goes well together. I could probably take out any one person and add in any one of these epics and still do really well. But it will have nothing to do with that epic. It'll have everything to do with the team comp and those amazing other champions that I'm using, be it that they're rare champions, epic champions, or legendary champions. It really doesn't matter. They're just way better champions than these are. Now, out of the three, the best one probably is High Katoon down here on the bottom right, only because all the other epic barbarians, and there's like 15 of them, aren't good at all. She's one of the best epic barbarians there are, but there are two rare barbarians that are better than all of them. War Maiden is one of them. She's the one in the red hair with the bikini on that does the AoE decreased defense. She just attacked. We also have the Marked, which is very, very good for barbarians, way better than the other epics. And the real big problem is that High Katoon is severely outshined by an Apothecary, which is a rare champion. Because Apothecary is so versatile in this game, he's so good for this game, that you would choose Apothecary over High Katoon for about 98% of everything you do in this game. There's going to be a few other reasons where there's going to be some select teams where you might want to use her, but still, Apothecary is better than anything else. You can use High Katoon for Faction Wars, that's fine. You can use a lot of these champions for Faction Wars, but High Katoon is outshined in every way by Apothecary. So I'm hoping within your 30 days when you get High Katoon, maybe you've already pulled an Apothecary out of your Mystery Shards or your Ancient Shards, and then you can just use Apothecary and put High Katoon in your vault. Now, don't eat any of these champions. Save them, because one day they might be balanced, or we might get new content that comes out, and they're really good for that new content. But do keep in mind, if you get Apothecary, you're always going to use Apothecary over High Katoon. He's just too good. And the real sad part about it all are the epic books. They all take a crazy amount of epic books to make them usable, better, right? You always want to get those skills cooldowns. You want to get those percentages increased. So they take so many epic books, and you don't get that many epic books. You just can't afford to put epic books. Definitely don't do anything with Dark Aethel. Dark Aethel is pretty much off the board, and we'll talk about that in a minute. High Katoon, if you hit that 1 to get her skill cooldown on her turn meter increase and her speed buff, sure, she can be usable. And for Yaga, what I'm going to do with Yaga is pit him up against Kale, and we're going to see who is the better poisoner, and we're going to talk about their moves right after this run. We're going to compare their moves right now on paper so you can see that Kale looks like a better champion overall, and he really is a better champion. But we do have Kale as magic, and we do have Yaga as force, so it's always a backup, right? We do have a backup for poisons. I don't even know if Yaga is going to be able to get enough poisons up right now to take out the dragon. I hope so. But we do have Gorgorab, so usually Gorgorab can pick us back up and we won't have big issues. Yaga does have Lifesteal gear on and War Master, so he can proc and heal himself. Very, very good. He did get up some poisons there. He is the only one right now doing poisons besides War Maiden's A2, which does the 2.5% poison, which you saw up. We need the poisons now. I'm hoping we get them. And again, with Dark Aethel, we'll go over Dark Aethel. We'll talk about how she looks, all the hype they did for her, all the text that you see in her moves. There's so much text in Dark Aethel's moves where it would look that she would be very good. It looks like she'd be very good for spiders, but unfortunately she's not. I've heard that people can do damage with Dark Aethel in Arena. You can do damage with anybody in Arena. You can do anybody with an AoE. You can make them hit hard in Arena. But I'm already going through the waves with her right now, and I haven't been able to hit hard with her. I had her even in better gear. Let's go to her first. Let's go to Dark Aethel so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's Dark Aethel. Again, look at her. You want to play her. She looks cool. You waited 90 days to get her. Now you have her, and you're like, she's just not working out for you. I have her in Savage Gear, which is the hardest hitting gear in the game. I had her 100% crit. I even had an attack percentage chest piece on her, but I did switch it out because she wasn't surviving. And I looked at the numbers that she did even with that. I had her attack up to 4,100. I had her up at 100% crit with around the same critical damage, 228 critical damage in Savage Gear, and she still hit very, very weak, or she hit comparable to pretty much everybody in the game, to a rare, to an epic, to anybody else in the game. She wasn't hitting harder than anybody. She was hitting probably lower. It wasn't a good look for her when she's supposed to be killing champions to take advantage of this right here. But I will say that this move, hitting 2 times, having a chance to place a 60% decrease on her A1, it's a good move. It's not bad at all. If you have to have a decreased defense and you don't want to go farm, War Maiden's farmable. You can farm her in campaign, and it's an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. 100% chance to apply. She's a phenomenal champion. This rare right here, you can level up this rare to 60. I've got guides on her. She's fantastic. You can take her most everywhere. Though she is force, so at very, very end game, she's going to be hard to slot into Ice Golems 20 and Spiders 20. You can definitely use her Fire Knight 20 and Dragons 20, all the keeps, and use her in Minotaur 15 very easily. Anything you can do 15, it's no problem at this point in the game. So we do have her. So if you need it, if you had to have somebody, but there are other substitutes out there. So you don't have the books. Nobody has the books for all this. And if you look at her A2, this AoE on a 4-turn cooldown, applies the decreased speed, doesn't hit hard, not necessary for anything you're going to do in the game. You're better off with a rare champion that, like Gnarlhorn, that can AoE provoke to get through waves, to do damage, to beat things down. And this here has so much stuff written on it that if she kills multiple enemies, that she'll do something special. Well, she's not going to hit hard enough to kill these enemies. She's not going to do well for you in Spiders. If you're talking about Spiders stage 6, 7, 8, 9, then yes, you could bring her in here at 60 and put her some gear and try to do some things just because she's an AoE champion. Has nothing to do with actually this, just because she does AoE as an AoE champion. You'd be better off with Kale doing his AoE 3-turn cooldown. You'd be better off with regular Aethel doing her AoE cooldown and then buffing herself, getting an extra turn. She's just unfortunately not worth it. Please do not invest books into her. You don't have enough books to do that. And I even gave her masteries. I gave her critical damage. I gave her damage based off of, more damage when the enemy has higher max HP. Try to extend her buffs. Try to have a higher percentage chance to apply those buffs. I tried her. Believe me, I did a whole guide on her actually before. I've done a whole guide video on her. But she's not worth it. She is not, unfortunately, she is not worth it at all. And that's kind of why we're doing this video, so we can talk about these champions and so you can know about alternatives. Alternatives for her is pretty much anybody. Anybody is a better alternative for Dark Aethel. Do not waste your books. Yaga the Insatiable. You get him at the 60-day login reward. If you don't have a Poisoner by then, you should have Kale. I really hope you pulled Kale or started the game with Kale. He is amazing, and we're going to talk about why. So look at Yaga's skill 1. 50% chance to apply 5% poison. Okay, that's good. Not bad at all. A2, 4-turn cooldown. He can only attack twice, 75% chance booked out to put up a 5% poison for 2 turns. Now look at the books he takes. 4, what do we have? 6 here, and then another 5. So I've had copies of him that I've thrown in here. I don't want to waste books on him. I really don't want to waste books, even just to compare him to Kale, which I'm going to do. I'm going to compare the two in some cool and interesting ways and do a video about it, but I really don't want to waste books on him to do this. But anyways, here. So this skill right here, 4-turn cooldown. The most he could ever apply would be 2 poisons at 5% for 2 turns if they both landed. Now let's go look at Kale's ability. Here's Kale's A3. 4 times at random, so it's not hitting the same target all the time. 4 times at random, hits actually pretty good, and then has a 50% chance to apply a 5% poison. So if he got lucky, the most he could apply would be 4. But it kind of equals out to be about the same. His A1 has a 100% chance to apply 2.5%. Equals the same as his 50% chance to apply 5% chance. At least you know you're always going to get this up unless you're resisted. And then Kale's AoE here with an additional crit chance and then turn meter is way better than what anything else Yaga has. Way better. And the aura is good too. I actually do like Yaga's aura for coming up if you're a new player or a mid-game player and you need some additional accuracy. Where did he go? Where did he go? He's disappeared on me. Come back, Yaga. Wow. I cannot... I'm so bad at finding champions. There's Haikatoon. And where are the rest? Here he is. So his aura is actually really nice. An additional 40 to accuracy. That's basically just a 2-piece accuracy set. Gives you 40. But still, if you need accuracy, what you're going to need if you're moving up and progressing, then you can use him as an accuracy lead. So I'll put him against Kale. We'll have Kale in one quarter, Yaga in the other. They'll duke it out, and I have some really cool ways to have them duke it out so we can see who does the most poisons and who does the most damage. I think it'll be really fun, and you'll know. But the substitute for him is Kale, 100%. Start with Kale, or I hope you get Kale as a rare champion, and it all comes down to, again, the books. We don't have books to book these people out. Nobody has these books. You start the game, you get a very limited supply of rewards as you log in for 90 days. After that 90 days, it's gone. It's over with. You never see them again. We have very few events that will ever get you books if you're free to play or low spender. You won't even be able to get those books even if you see them. And then getting an RNG reward for clan boss or anything else in this game for a book, very hard to do. And if you are a low spender and you do see those rare book packs, which I don't see that often, usually you can pick up like 5 rare books for $5. They'll come out with something of that kind of deal, but that's what you have. So really when it comes down to it, we'll talk about High Katoon as well. It all comes down to the books. I wish they gave these champions fully booked out. That would have been really cool to have them fully booked out, and we could have just played them right away and enjoyed their skills and tried to use them, especially if you're free to play or low spender. Or if they don't want to give us books, at least make them really useful. I don't mean the best in the game. Like High Katoon's useful, and she's not the best in the game, so they actually did a decent job with her. But for the rest of them, maybe a little bit better. Really, the only one that I have an issue with is Dark Aethel. The other two, we can maybe force into some slots, but when you have better alternatives that are rares for Yaga and Kale, and then we have an alternative that's rare for Apothecary and High Katoon, which Apothecary is so much better in every situation in the game, then it makes these champions not look good at all. And we don't have the books to do that, but we do have rare books. We do have rare copies, much easier to do. She does have the speed increase here from 19% if you want to use her as a lead. So if you have 100 speed on your champion base, goes off of base speed, you get an additional 19 speed for each of your champions. Not that bad, right? If they have 100 base speed each, right? So then we have this ability. It's the same exact ability as Apothecary. Very strong, very powerful, but you have to hit this one. Luckily, I did. I used one skill book, and I got it in here, so I'm good to go. But if you didn't get lucky, look how many skill books you need. So many skill books, and the rest of her skills are pretty lackluster. Apothecary has a 2-turn cooldown heal and an A1 that hits 3 times. So go Apothecary is the main point of this video, I guess. Go Apothecary, go Kale. I'm going to come out with that video. I'm going to try to test them today and a whole bunch of things. Forget about Dark Aethel. Never use her. Don't use her. There are so many other alternatives, and if I had to run them again in a group, I would definitely take out Dark Aethel. Like, I would just go here, the dragons, I would come to Dark Aethel, take her out, then we can take out Gorgorab, we can bring in some spot heals here, and then we can bring in somebody like, here we go, Gnarlhorn with an AoE provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. 1-turn AoE provoke to help us through the waves. We're going to make it easy. Then when we get to the boss, just like we do with Kale, when we get to the Dragons 20, we let Kale or Yaga do their thing with poisons, put them up, have lifesteal gear on so they heal themselves off of War Master, and we're good to go. Because this team will work. I'm not going to run it because then it'll make the video so much longer. But this team will work. We can take out Gorgorab, and we don't have to worry about having that epic Gorgorab in here anymore. And these are rare champions, along with the 2 that were given to us, would make it much easier. So that's all I've got. Let me know your thoughts on the champions that you start with. Where's the other one? Here we are, Dark Aethel. Let me know how you feel about your High Katoon that you got at 30 days, your Yaga that you got at 60, and your Dark Aethel that you got at 90. Maybe you've got some cool, clever ways that you're using them in. Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys all on a video soon.